Hi, this is Jeremy, aka Mr. Variety. I'm gonna start on these jeans. I already did this side with this seam ripper. I'm just gonna do this side with that seam ripper, and then I'm gonna measure from the very center of the band, the waistband, all the way to the very center of this area, because it's evident this is where it was pressed last time, and I guess this has just been tapered the way it is, and it's fine. But that's how we decided to make my measurement of how long the length is, and then how it's going to be cut. I think I'm going to do is, since I got a lengthwise, I also have secretly going across, like, so then I can just do an X, and then that should equal 45 degrees, or sorry, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, so 180, 180. So, so it'll tell me where the center point is. That's my theory mathematically. I don't know. And then it'll tell me where I need to cut. Now, I could easily cut probably with this guy, but because I spent the money and I would like to have a really clean cut, I'm going to cut using this guy right here. And these are shears for cutting thick stuff like this and way thicker. But that's why I do that. And then when I do seam ripper, I'm going to use this as my poking hand, and then I'm going to use this as my hand that wears the glove. That way I don't go right into my finger, try to put my finger I'm not going with that. Instead I want that, at least, and what else? So that's going to be the cut. And then the folds I already figured out. I'm going to make sure every time now before I actually cut anything, I'm going to iron it down. Well, wherever my iron is, get the iron. Probably put this iron up here. It's not on, obviously. Now, and after I iron, now I was thinking about marking with chalk like that, but that's too big of an area. So instead I'm going to use I don't know about disappearing ink. I think I'll just use Mark Beyond, which is water-soluble ink. And then that's air and water-soluble ink. So I'll just use water-soluble ink. And that's what I'll do. So I'll make each of these lines. And I know I don't want to use these pinking shears, because the people that cut these jeans before, they did not use pinking shears. And it was already folded all the way in anyway. So sometimes pinking shears are used on the edge to keep the edge from fraying. If you're going to do like a one fold. But in this case, this thing needs many folds. It needs, let's see here. So that's the outside cuff edge right there. The inside cuff edge. And it needs let's see, half inch fold, fabric cut edge right there. So half inch fold, and then a 1/4 inch fold, and then another half inch fold, and then between, and that right there, that line and that line are going to be where the actual sewing occurs, and because that's evidently where that is. See that's got a half inch right there. Yeah, it's got a half inch right there, and a little bit of a edge of a half inch. So that's what I'm going to do there. And right there is just going to be the edge of the cuff. So, wow. And my goal here, remove a 1/4 inch, aka 0.25 inches. And that's it. So I just have to measure 0.25 inches, make sure they got exactly the same lengths. I'll measure these, and I'll measure this one when they're fully expanded. Make sure they get the same exact length. Sorry, I'm not like straight. And if they do, good. If they don't, I will make them the exact same length in that perpendicular sense. And then every time, and as soon as I got the folds completely folded, one fold, I'm gonna press it with iron, and also make it easy on myself. Spray it with the water, not till that point in time, and then that's just so nice, don't you think? And then each time I fold, do the same thing until eventually I get all the folds. And then I'll take the pins, the original pins that the client saved and put for me to use. We put those into the sides of the jeans, and then to hold the jeans in place. Then I go ahead and sew it just like this, and that should do just nicely. You know, jeez. Anyway, yep. Got to roll up her sleeves here and sew them down and do the work. That's basically a hemming job for my understanding. So I'm going to try to do that and see if I'm right, because I did a lot of research about it, you know, make sure I'm not doing to do the wrong thing. And then going over this hump here when I sew, I got to put this little fork thing I have underneath the sewing, underneath the presser foot, and then raise it up so that the presser foot is like horizontal to the sewing surface and not angled up, because it's got to go over this hump. Like, that's actually a big hump there. Same thing with that. So, and then also when sewing, my research, it's better to start at the hemline, or start at the yeah, I guess you might say this is a hemline. That's like a double stitch though, but I'm just gonna do a single stitch. You start there, that way you go all the way around, and then you end there as well. That way it doesn't look sloppy. And then that, from bumper to bumper, should be mending the jeans, at least that portion of it. Mending is a different story. I've got to do mending on this thing as well. I guess a good example right here. I can actually take this and I'm gonna mend that, so that way it's fully like mended. I'm gonna seam rip it and then I'm gonna mend it, and that should be a lot better, and it should stop fraying. Because he asked me if I can mend the pockets. I'm like, okay, no problem. At first I was like, what are you talking about, guy? Your pockets are like, don't have holes in them at all. Like, oh, the pockets, got it. And yeah, no problem. So I just seam rip that, and put it on the mending machine. Also seam rip this and lift it out of the way. That way I can sew it down later on, just like I did with the jeans. Whew. And that is the, oh, hold on. Oh, I got to do that one too, right? No, that's fine. But no, I mean, that's basically the whole entire job, all the way to start to finish. It took me a while to research it to make sure I was right, because there was one person who was like, what you need to do is take a running start and go to the bump. I'm like, no, that's not going to make your needle not break. If you do that, you're going to have broken needle and broken dreams, you know. So that's the ugly guy that's been talking at you for the past 8 minutes straight. Like, I don't know if I want to watch this channel now. I thought you were a hot chick or something. Like, well... Let me get my real I still want to get back to making music and stuff like that. I was listening to David Bowie, the best of David Bowie or something like that. It's like 20 tracks on there. The last track is I'm Afraid of Americans. But it's got Bluejeans. And like, I've been listening to that a lot. Like, And there's another friend of mine that wants me to do a Journey song, sing a song. I want to have time to rehearse and stuff, but I got to finish. With the blinding light. I got to finish what's on my plate first. But after this, I might go on to fix my own jeans. I found 2 pair of jeans that both don't fit me width-wise, like around the legs and maybe around the sides. So what I'm going to do is they do fit me lengthwise. So you're telling me the length is right. It's just the width that needs to be brought out on one. How are you going to bring the width out on one pair of jeans if they're identical? Well, identical enough. Pretty easy. You just harvest from one of those jeans that you may or may not use again what's called a gusset. I only remember that because there's this guy named Gussie Miller, and he's a really great musician, and that's how I remember good music. Thanks. A gusset goes on the side of the side of the garment, can extend the size of the garment. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to seam rip everything, and then again, I'm going to press it down you know, so it's nice and flat and perfect to, and ready to sew and stuff. And I mean, I'm going to even use this thing too. You see some of my recording studio behind me in my reader's workshop, my copy reader workshop. Anyway, we use this to make all the stuff flat and good as well. Anyway, that way I can have a pair of jeans. I even have a pair of jean shorts I forgot I had. So my clothing rack eventually fell over finally, because all the area around it was starting to go out of control a little bit. But it took about 1.5 years for it to finally fall over, from the point I set the clothing rack up to, it's been 1.5 years. And, and, oh my gosh, Christopher, I can't believe it. I'm going to have to find a really soft thing that is not a living thing to punch. Okay, things are clean now. I was so tired. Anyway, is it tomorrow already? Oh, dang it, it's tomorrow. You know, like, but anyway, yeah, I found some jeans shorts under there. Like, yeah. I love jeans shorts, and I forgot I own them. And I forgot that I'm a guy that does tailoring, but I'm not exactly a tailor. You know, is that kind of like Casey Ryback? You know, he also cooks. You know, yeah. Casey flipping Ryback. Well, anyway. I also have some corduroy I'm going to do the same thing with, where I got corduroy that fit me lengthwise, and I also got some algodon fabric that, well, pants that, again, also fit me lengthwise, but I can just harvest from those. They're about the same color. I'm like, you know, that way I can have some corduroy, some jeans, and some jean shorts. That way I get this job done, and I get my own clothing, you know, underway. And I don't feel as bad about screwing up my own clothing, but this is someone else's, like, baby. You know, cradle the baby. Cradle the baby. Okay? You don't not cradle the baby, you cradle the baby. You know? Yeah, this is somebody else's baby, so, you know, tread softly. I wish you the cloths of heaven, you know. I being poor man, have only my dreams. I let my dreams at your feet, but yet, at least secretly, his dreams are made out of cloth. William Butler Yeats, we hardly knew ye. Sorry, I was trying to sound like a Shakespearean Saturday Night Live guy. Not that I want to join the ranks, because, I don't know that. I don't know nothing, man. Large fabric job, staging area. And those are all my Back to the Future shirts. Got 1, 2, 3, and there's a gray right there. I can't remember the name of that gray, but I'm sure I have it in this Bella canvas swatch. 1, 2, 3, 4 things that fold out. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Might be that one, asphalt or something. No, it might be this one, asphalt black. Heirloom jersey, tri-blend. It's probably the tri-blend, or it could be Heather. Who knows? Or street fleece. Ooh. Anyway, I will find you, color. Yeah. Yep, gonna have the Bella canvas, man. And also, I was remembering that I used my tailor's clapper, so that helps to press things further and faster, and cleaner. And the most important part, the tailor's clapper, because you press things a lot less time, you know, you can let go of the press sooner and put the tailor's clapper on there sooner. That way, you don't burn your clothing. Yep. You burn it, you don't have it. It's gone with the wind. Anyway, but all right. And I'm also glad about all this setup here. It's really great. I can set this up pretty fast, clean it real fast, put it back there. Also, back there's my corkboard. It's the same size as the whole entire table. It's corkboard, and I made it way back when. So that way, corkboard not only can be used as a pinning board, But you can also use it if you add some cotton over top of it as an ironing board and a pressing board. Yeah. So, you know. Okay, now we're even. So I don't want to be like, whoop, didn't put myself on that side. Whoop. No. Anyway. It's a big guessing game because, I didn't get the chance to learn all this. Like, if you turn to page 5 of How Not to Be a Moron, I will teach you the next thing. Cool, thanks, teacher. I'm glad I have money and a teacher and a lot of nice things. Am I speaking fiction? Because I don't even know what those words mean. Like, there's a lot of things I want to do, but for now, right now, I want to get these jeans done and get all those projects in order and clean up the upstairs room a little bit more. But my understanding, that's going to be a mess as long as I'll have fabric work. But it'd be nice to get some of those things moving a little bit. Get some new stuff in, and I'm glad I bought. Well, I got these long things for fabric, like keeping fabric, but I'm glad I bought. Not that I bought that. It's like for two-sided attaché or applique, two-sided applique. So you have applique, and I got more of this stuff which I needed, and that's less. It's a little bit more of that stuff. It's for mending, and then here we are. That stuff back there, that's for pockets and pocket-like material, and it presses on there on one side, and then you sew it in, and it's pretty tough stuff. And I'm also excited about making Taylor's ham, making the Taylor sausage, and making a sewable hacky sack with those patterns. And this right here seems to be the best place for me to keep this thing, But anyway, as you can see, this table is really versatile. Even though it didn't look like much, because I kind of was using masking effect to block those things from your view. And maybe I'll get the chance to review some music, some lyrics that I can sing into vocals. Those are a little bit too tall. Those have been pinned there for a while. I'm not going to be able to go take the Viking sewing class. Joann's is going out of business. Dang it. And then the Viking sewing gallery is already closed. Darn it. And this is me. Thanks for checking the stuff out. I'm going to get to work on all the stuff I just said. I think that I just literally spilled out all the guts about what the notes exactly say as well. And you just press everything, keep it between folds to keep things from puckering. That's basically it. This is Jeremy, aka Mr. Variety, and thanks for tuning into this cool thing so that we can do stuff with things. I do stuff. Variety sessions. Variety. Visit twitch.tv/music forum, twitch.tv/music forum, hooniesdesigners.com. Scan the code.